The hum of the ship's engines was a constant undercurrent to the tense silence in the bridge. Captain Ryle Soren stood before the observation window, staring at Earth. From this distance, it looked serene, untouched by the turmoil it was rumored to harbor. Yet, Ryle knew better. The faint pulse, now visible on every sensor readout, told a different story. "Captain, we're getting something, again." Talya's voice sliced through the quiet, her eyes fixed on the glowing screen in front of her. Her fingers hovered above the console, ready to analyze whatever anomaly had appeared this time. Ryle didn't answer immediately. His fingers drummed against his chair's armrest, his mind racing. The signal had been faint at first, barely noticeable amid the usual static of deep space. But now? Now it was impossible to ignore. "Is it the same pulse?" he asked, his voice a mix of curiosity and caution. "Yes," Talya confirmed, her brow furrowed in confusion. "And it's getting stronger." Ryle's gaze remained fixed on Earth, the glowing blue orb turning slowly beneath the vast, silent expanse of stars. His heart pounded with an odd sense of urgency. Earth had always been a planet of interest among the Galactic Council, not for its advanced technology, but for something more, something darker. "It doesn't make sense," Talya muttered, tapping at the console with increasing speed. "Nothing on Earth should be capable of producing this kind of energy, certainly not at this scale. We need to find out where it's coming from." Ryle's decision was swift. He wasn't one for indecision, especially not when facing the unknown. They had been tasked with investigating Earth's newfound importance, and the pulsing energy only confirmed that something hidden was now awakening. "Aren't you concerned, Captain?" Talya's voice was laced with skepticism. "This is not a simple energy signature. The last time something like this happened, the Galactic Council shut down the mission." Ryle turned to her then, meeting her eyes with a mixture of resolve and something deeper, something she couldn't quite place. "We've been avoiding Earth for far too long. And for what? To protect a story? A myth? We're not here to cater to fears. We're here to find answers." Before Talya could reply, the ship's AI, Orion, interrupted with a calm, measured tone. "Captain, we are nearing the coordinates. Expect to enter Earth's atmosphere in 20 minutes. Ryle's jaw clenched. He had no time for hesitation. Earth had been marked not worth the risk by the Galactic Archives for decades, an antiquated decision, based on fragmented reports and a long-forgotten conflict. But the galaxy was changing, and so was humanity. They had a part to play now, whether the Council liked it or not. The ship jolted slightly as it began its descent into Earth's atmosphere. The view of the planet below blurred, clouds parting to reveal a sprawling green landscape. As they neared, Ryle couldn't shake the nagging feeling that they were stepping into something far more dangerous than anyone had realized. "What are we looking at, Talya?" Ryle asked, his voice low. His pulse was picking up pace in his throat. Talya didn't immediately answer. Her focus was absolute as she adjusted the scanners, zooming in on the epicenter of the pulse. Her fingers danced across the console, running diagnostics, interpreting the data. Finally, she spoke. "It's there." She pointed at the screen. "A forest, deep in the northern hemisphere. No record of human settlement. But there's something buried beneath it. Something big." Ryle squinted, scanning the data for any clue about what was down there. His mind swam with possibilities, an ancient facility, perhaps. A lost civilization, dormant technology. His gut told him something far worse was brewing. The pulse wasn't just a signal, it was a warning. "Full stop," Ryle ordered. The ship slowed dramatically, hovering just outside the atmospheric boundary. "Prepare the team. We're going in." As the crew scrambled to ready themselves, Talya remained by his side, her gaze fixed on the planet below. "What if the Council is right, Ryle?" she asked quietly, her words barely a whisper. "What if this is exactly what they warned us about?" Ryle turned to her, meeting her eyes with an unflinching certainty. "Then we'll find out for ourselves." The comms system crackled to life. Ojar, the enigmatic Galactic Council representative, appeared on the screen, his alien features sharp and calculating. His voice was low, edged with unmistakable warning. Captain Soren, you must abandon this mission. Earth is a tomb. Those who have attempted to unravel its secrets have never returned. The risk is too great. The archives have spoken. Ryle's hands tightened around the armrest. The archives are wrong, Ojar. We're going in. Ojar's expression hardened. Then you will do so without support, Captain. And if you fail, it will be on your head alone. The transmission cut out. Ryle exhaled slowly. Talya's eyes narrowed as she watched the message fade from the screen. You heard him, Talya murmured, her voice distant, almost regretful. They won't help us. If we die down there, then we die fighting for something greater than a myth. Ryle's voice was firm, unyielding. He had never been one to back down from a fight. And now, more than ever, he was ready to face whatever lay hidden beneath Earth's surface. The ship descended further, piercing through the clouds. Ryle's thoughts were a mix of determination and dread. Whatever lay ahead would change everything, about Earth, about the galaxy, and about humanity's place within it. The ground trembled slightly beneath Ryle's boots as he stepped off the strider, his eyes scanning the dense, green forest that stretched endlessly before him. The ship's engines hummed in the distance, barely audible over the rustle of leaves and the distant calls of strange creatures. Earth. It looked so different from the sterile, advanced worlds he was used to. It felt alive. I don't like this, Talya said, stepping beside him. Her voice was tight, her senses clearly on high alert. The pulse from the planet had intensified during their descent, like a heartbeat pounding in the atmosphere. It was unsettling. I know, Ryle muttered, his fingers brushing the hilt of his blaster. The last time humanity had made contact with an alien force, it hadn't gone well. The stories surrounding Earth, the whispered warnings from the Galactic Council, lingered in his mind. But they were just stories, right? This time would be different. Let's move out. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with moisture, the scent of pine and damp earth mixing with the faint metallic tang of something artificial. Their boots sank slightly into the rich, wet soil. Ryle didn't mind the discomfort, it was nothing compared to the unease gnawing at his gut. Something was watching them. He could feel it. Why would they hide a weapon here? Talya's voice broke through his thoughts. This place, it's so primitive. Ryle's gaze hardened as he scanned the surroundings. The trees were massive, their branches twisting toward the sky like gnarled fingers. It was beautiful, in its own wild way. But he couldn't shake the feeling that the planet was hiding something, a secret buried too deeply for even the Galactic Council to uncover. Because it's human, Ryle said, his voice low but resolute. And humans don't do things the easy way. They fight. Talya shot him a sharp look, but didn't reply. She trusted him, but this mission was unlike any they'd undertaken. The stakes felt different here, higher, more personal. After an hour of navigating the dense forest, the trees began to thin out, revealing a strange anomaly, a jagged stone structure, overgrown with vines and moss, partially hidden among the rocks. It was out of place, its sharp angles at odds with the organic flow of the natural surroundings. Ryle's heart skipped a beat. This is it, he muttered, stepping forward with purpose. His fingers instinctively tightened around the blaster at his side. What exactly is it? Talya asked, her voice tinged with suspicion. A ruined temple? A military outpost? I don't know, Ryle replied, his eyes narrowing. But we're about to find out. They approached cautiously, their movements slow and deliberate. The pulse was strongest here, almost vibrating in the air. Ryle could feel it in his bones, whatever lay ahead, it was powerful. Dangerous. The entrance to the structure was concealed beneath a massive slab of rock, weathered but unmistakably crafted. A sharp, jagged line ran through the stone, and Ryle could make out faint symbols carved into its surface, alien in design, but strangely familiar. Can you read that? Talya asked, her fingers brushing over the markings. Ryle shook his head, his brow furrowed. No. But it looks like a warning. He took a step back and surveyed the surroundings. The air felt thicker now, charged with energy. A sudden, high-pitched hum echoed through the space, startling them both. The ground beneath their feet vibrated again, and the entrance stone began to shift, grinding slowly against the earth. Dust and debris scattered in every direction as the massive door slowly creaked open. "It's opening," Talya said, her voice tight with both excitement and fear. Ryle didn't answer, his mind racing. The feeling in his gut was undeniable now, it wasn't just a weapon hidden here. Something much bigger, far older, was buried beneath the surface. A relic of a time long past. Inside, the air was stale and cold. The dim, flickering light from their suits barely cut through the inky darkness. Ryle's hand hovered near the control on his suit as he activated a small, handheld light. It cast long shadows across the walls, revealing rows of ancient machines and shattered equipment. This wasn't a temple, it was a facility, or what had been one. "What the hell happened here?" Talya muttered, her voice barely above a whisper. The pulse was stronger now, vibrating through the walls, filling the chamber with an eerie hum that seemed to come from deep within the planet itself. Ryle could feel it in his chest. The weapon wasn't the only thing they'd uncovered. "Stay sharp," Ryle warned, his hand still on the blaster at his side. "Something doesn't feel right." A sudden hiss filled the air, and the dim light from their suits flickered. The floor beneath them groaned, and a low rumbling sound reverberated through the walls. Talya froze, eyes wide. "Ryle, we're not alone." Before Ryle could respond, the chamber's far wall shifted, revealing a hidden corridor. At the end of it, faint blue light pulsed, faint but unmistakable. It was the same energy they'd been tracking since they entered Earth's atmosphere. "Let's move," Ryle said, his voice steady. "We're getting closer." But as they advanced down the corridor, the walls seemed to close in, the pulse growing stronger with every step. The ground beneath their feet trembled again, and Ryle's heart raced. Something ancient. Something powerful. And it was waking up. The corridor seemed to stretch on forever. The faint, electric hum of energy pulsed through the walls, resonating deep in Ryle's chest. Each step he took echoed with an eerie finality, as if the structure beneath their feet was alive, waiting. The air had grown colder, thicker, and with every breath, Ryle could taste the metallic tang of something ancient and forgotten. "We're too far in to turn back now," Talya whispered, her voice muffled by the dull buzz that surrounded them. She was close behind him, her face illuminated by the narrow beam of her helmet light. "Whatever it is, it's drawing us in." Ryle didn't answer immediately. He couldn't. His mind was racing, calculations and possibilities colliding. The deeper they went, the more certain he became, Earth had been hiding something far beyond what anyone had expected. This wasn't just an ancient weapon or relic, it was something sentient. Alive. The pulse was undeniable now, filling the space, seeping into their bones. It had started as a distant hum, something subtle in the background of their journey. But now it was a presence, as oppressive as the darkness around them. Suddenly, the corridor before them widened into a vast chamber. The walls stretched upwards, disappearing into shadows. At its center stood an enormous structure, a towering pillar of black metal, etched with symbols that looked both alien and strangely human. Ryle's heart raced as he stepped into the chamber. The entire room was alive with energy, pulsing in rhythm with the strange heartbeat they had been tracking since their arrival on Earth. The pillar at its core was the source, and Ryle could feel it, its ancient intelligence, its cold, watchful gaze. This wasn't here before," Talya said, stepping forward, her fingers grazing the surface of the metal. Her touch sent a ripple of energy through the room, making the pulse quicken for a brief moment. "No," Ryle said, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the structure. "It's been waiting." The walls began to tremble as if in response to his words. The symbols on the pillar shimmered and shifted, rearranging themselves into an intricate pattern. The pulse, once steady, became erratic, like a frenzied heartbeat. the air thickened, vibrating with raw power. "What is this?" Talya asked, her voice a mixture of awe and fear. "A machine? A weapon?" Ryle could only shake his head. "No. It's more than that. It's a consciousness." As the words left his mouth, a low, guttural growl reverberated through the chamber, a sound that sent chills crawling up Ryle's spine. Talya tensed beside him, her weapon now drawn. "Did you hear that?" she whispered, her eyes wide with alarm. Ryle nodded grimly. "I heard it." He took a step back, his boots scraping the cold floor as the growl grew louder, shifting from an eerie hum into a deep, resonant voice. The chamber seemed to pulse with it, vibrating under the weight of the sound. "Who awakens me?" The voice was deep, ancient, and undeniably powerful, echoing through the walls. Ryle's breath caught in his throat, his pulse quickening. I don't understand," Talya stammered, her voice thin with fear. "This isn't possible." Ryle remained silent, the magnitude of the situation settling heavily on his shoulders. The structure in front of them was no mere relic. It was something far more dangerous. Whatever it is, it's not just a weapon. It's a guardian. The voice responded, a hum of power, a threat wrapped in the coldness of ages. "You have come for the relic of your ancestors." The words sliced through the air like a blade. Ryle's mind spun. Earth wasn't just hiding its past. It was guarding it, protecting something from the very galaxy that had abandoned it. "The relic," Ryle repeated under his breath, trying to make sense of the puzzle that was unfolding in front of him. He took a tentative step forward. "We're not here to steal anything. We're here to understand. You will fail." The voice cut through him, chilling his very soul. The walls shook with a terrible power, and the pulse that had been building reached a crescendo. Talya's voice was tight with panic. "Ryle, this is insane. We need to get out, now." But Ryle didn't move. He couldn't. The presence in the room was overwhelming, yet it called to him. He felt its intelligence, its age. This wasn't just some ancient war machine. This was something more profound, something deeply connected to Earth's lost past. "Not yet," Ryle said, his voice steady, though his mind was reeling. He reached out to touch the pillar, his hand resting against its cool, metallic surface. The moment he made contact, the energy flared. A blinding light erupted from the pillar, engulfing the entire room. Ryle's vision was consumed, and he felt his consciousness tear free from his body. Images flashed through his mind, visions of Earth long before the rise of humanity, ancient beings whose names had been lost to time, and an insidious force rising to challenge them. "We were the Guardians, before you," the voice whispered, a haunting reminder of what had once been. "Now, it is your turn." And then, just as suddenly, the light vanished, leaving Ryle gasping for breath in the darkness, his heart pounding in his chest. Talya was at his side, her hand gripping his arm tightly. "Ryle, what the hell just happened?" she demanded, her voice trembling. Ryle stood motionless, the weight of what he had just experienced pressing down on him. He didn't have an answer, but one thing was clear: Earth had been waiting for them, and the true challenge was only just beginning. Ryle's breath came in shallow gasps as the blinding light faded, his mind still reeling from the vision. For a moment, he felt as though he was floating in space, untethered from time itself. But the pulse of the chamber, the hum of energy beneath his feet, anchored him back to reality. The room had transformed. What had once been a cold, dark chamber was now alive with light, the symbols on the pillar glowing like stars in the night sky. Ryle's eyes flicked around, his thoughts scrambled. "Ryle?" Talya's voice broke through his haze. Her hand was on his arm, shaking him slightly. "What the hell just happened?" Ryle blinked rapidly, trying to shake off the lingering sense of disorientation. The visions of Earth's past, had overwhelmed him, but they weren't the only thing pressing at the edges of his mind. The voice. The presence. It was as if it was still here, watching, waiting. He took a step back, his legs shaky. "I think it showed me something. Something ancient." His voice was barely a whisper, filled with awe and confusion. Earth didn't just fall silent after the war. It went into hiding from the rest of the galaxy. We're not alone here, Talya. There's something more. Talya looked at him, her eyes wide with skepticism but also a glimmer of belief. You're telling me Earth was a what? A protector? A warrior? Ryle shook his head slowly. I don't know. But I saw something, an ancient order, something that stood guard against the darkness. And I think that's what this thing is. The pillar, the pulse. It's a remnant of that order. The air around them vibrated again, and Ryle's heart skipped a beat. The pulse was becoming erratic, more frantic. It felt like a countdown, like something was about to happen. We need to leave, Talya said, her voice urgent. She grabbed his arm, pulling him toward the corridor they had come from. This place is unstable. Whatever's happening, we don't want to be here when it blows. But Ryle couldn't move. His eyes were fixed on the pillar, where the symbols continued to shift, forming and reforming into complex patterns. The ancient voice echoed in his mind again, its words a haunting melody. You are not ready, yet. Ryle. Talya's voice snapped him back to the present. She tugged harder, her grip tightening. We need to go. Now. Ryle hesitated, torn between the pull of the unknown and the instinct to keep moving. But then, the ground beneath them shifted, just slightly, but enough to throw them off balance. A low rumble echoed through the chamber, followed by a sharp hiss of air. Something was opening, something powerful. Get down! Ryle shouted, diving for cover as the walls trembled violently. Talya followed suit, throwing herself behind a pile of rubble, her breathing quick and shallow. The room seemed to split apart as a massive shaft of light shot up from the base of the pillar. The chamber's walls fractured, revealing a hidden chamber beneath the ground. A subterranean pulse thrummed beneath them, and Ryle's heart raced as he realized what was happening. The pulse. It wasn't just a signal. It was a call. It's awakening, Ryle breathed, staring at the crack in the floor. Whatever it is, it's waking up now. Talya's eyes locked onto him, her face pale beneath her helmet. Then we need to stop it before it's too late. Ryle hesitated, his gaze still fixed on the shifting lights. The truth was undeniable now. This wasn't just about Earth's history or its forgotten guardians. Whatever had been dormant beneath the surface was something that could reshape the galaxy, something humanity was never meant to uncover. But he couldn't let it destroy everything. Not after everything humanity had endured. We can't let it get out of here, Ryle said, more to himself than Talya. We have to stop it. We have to shut it down. Without waiting for a response, he moved toward the newly revealed shaft of light, his steps sure and purposeful. Talya was at his side in an instant, her weapon drawn, ready for whatever lay ahead. The light grew brighter, and the air felt thicker, charged with an energy that buzzed through Ryle's bones. He could see shapes shifting beneath the light, a colossal form, almost humanoid in shape, but ancient and twisted. Its eyes, if it had eyes, burned with an unearthly glow. The remnants of Earth's past. Ryle's hand went to the control panel on his wrist. I'm opening it, he muttered, glancing at Talya. Once we're in, there's no going back. You ready? Talya nodded. Always. With a swift motion, Ryle activated the sequence, and the light flashed, momentarily blinding them. A deep, resonating roar shook the chamber, and the colossal form within the light shifted, its limbs stirring. This is it, Ryle said, his voice a grim declaration. Let's finish this. They both charged forward, weapons raised. The chamber trembled around them, and the ground beneath their feet seemed to pulse with a malevolent rhythm. There was no turning back now. As they reached the heart of the glowing entity, the light flared one final time, then, silence. The pulse stopped. In the stillness, Ryle turned to Talya. His chest was heaving, his mind still racing, but a strange calm had settled over him. They had done it. But as the dust settled and the light dimmed, Ryle couldn't shake the feeling that Earth's secrets were far from over. What they had awakened, it wasn't finished yet. Not by a long shot. And for humanity, this was just the beginning. "We're not done here," he said softly, more to himself than to Talya. "But we've bought some time." The echoes of the past still reverberated through the chamber, and Ryle knew that the true war was only beginning.